Good morning, everyone. Today, uh, today we'll discuss about the kinetic friction. Okay. And, last class, what we have discussed? In the last class, we discussed about the static friction. Okay. So here in static friction, what we get? Friction is nothing but the opposing force. Okay, which rises when two surfaces slide on each other. When two surfaces slide on each other, then frictional force rises. Okay, Fr I'm writing. Okay, suppose this box of mass and sliding on this direction. Okay, so there is a frictional force that will rise between the force of contact between the surface between the two surfaces. There is surface of the box and the surface of the plane. Okay, this rises on the surfaces. So this is Fr, frictional force. Okay, and I mentioned that frictional force are classified into three types: static friction, kinetic friction, and rolling friction. Okay, and the static friction is what? We denote static friction as Fs. Okay, Fs is what is the range of static friction? Us into R. Okay, the frictional force mainly depends upon the normal direction. That is, suppose in this diagram, this is mg due to gravitational pull in downward direction. So normal direction will be perpendicular to the surface R. This is equal to minus mg actually. So it should be minus mg, or we denote it as R. So static friction is for a body rolling over a surface. The static frictional force is represented by mu s into R. Mu s is the coefficient of static friction. Okay, this is the range of static frictional force. Okay, so what is I'm discussing the limiting case. Okay, F is equal to mu s into R. Okay, this is the case when the box starts sliding over the surface. Okay, when a body starts sliding over the surface, that time the required force. Okay, the required force to slide the box over its surface is called static frictional force, limit of static frictional force. Okay, so mainly when we discuss about the static friction, we discuss about the limiting case. Okay, that's equal to mu s into R. More apart from this, what we discuss about the how to represent mu s, which is the coefficient of static friction. Let's F by R. Okay, suppose force. This is the force applied on this direction, and this is the normal direction R. Okay, so how to represent? Suppose this is a limiting force required to slide this box of mass m over a surface. Okay, so this must be equal to the limiting static frictional force. Okay, F is equal to the limiting static frictional force. So we write down as F is equal to applied force, which is required for just start the box slide over the surface, mu s into R, or mu s, or from here we can write mu s into F by R. Okay, from this we get this. Okay, and after that, what we discussed in the last class, we discussed about the angle of friction. Angle of friction. Okay, suppose theta is the angle of friction. Okay, what is the angle? What is the angle of friction? Angle of friction. Suppose the box over a surface, and this is the limiting frictional force required to slide the box, and this is the normal direction R. So angle of friction is the angle made by the resultant of F and R. Okay, this is suppose this is the resultant. Okay, the resultant of Fn are made the normal reaction. Okay, this is the angle of friction. So angle of friction is what? Angle of friction is the angle made by the resultant of normal reaction and limiting static frictional force with the normal reaction. So this is the angle of friction, and what we get, that tangent of the angle of friction is equal to the coefficient of static friction. Okay, this relation was derived. Okay, then after that what we discussed the angle of repose. So what are the angle of repose? Suppose you place a object over an inclined surface which increases theta. If theta increases, what happens up to a certain angle? When theta reaches or incline, when this plane incline up to a certain angle, what happens? This box starts sliding in the another side. So this angle at which the box just starts sliding over this surface is called angle of repose, and it is also that, and here we also get tangent of the angle of repose is also equal to the coefficient of static friction. Okay, so from both the cases what we get, mu s, okay, is equal to the tangent of angle of friction and equal to the tangent of angle of repose. Okay, up to this we have discussed in the last class. Okay, now in this class we go for the kinetic friction. So what is kinetic friction? Okay, I'm just giving the definition. So when kinetic friction arises, when two surfaces are in relative motion with each other, then kinetic friction arises. Okay, so kinetic friction arises when two surfaces are in relative motion with each other, then kinetic friction arises. Okay, so when two surfaces, okay, suppose one surface is over the another surface. When two surfaces are in relative motion with each other, there must be a finite relative motion between the two surfaces. Okay, then in this case, the friction rises between the surface is called kinetic friction. Okay, and there are some properties relating to kinetic friction. Okay, and those are, it depends upon the nature of the surface. On the nature of the surface. Okay. Kinetic friction depends upon the nature of the surface. And secondly, like in static friction, it is independent of the area of contact. Okay, area of contact. And thirdly, does not depend upon the velocity of the body It doesn't depend upon the velocity at which the body is sliding over some surfaces. Okay, so kinetic friction depends upon the nature of the surface. Okay, how smooth the surface is depends upon that factor. It does not depend upon the area of contact. Okay, it only depends upon the normal reaction. Okay, friction force does not depend upon the area of contact. Okay, it only depends upon the area of contact. It only depends upon the normal reaction of that body, and it does not depend upon the velocity at which the body is sliding or moving over some surface. Now, fourth point is it mainly depends upon the normal reaction of the body. Okay, mainly depends on the normal reaction of the body. Like in case of static friction, it also depends on the normal reaction. So we can represent kinetic friction Fk is proportional to normal reaction of the body, or we can say Fk is equal to mu k into R, where mu k is what? Coefficient of kinetic friction. Kinetic friction. Okay, this is how we represent or write down the kinetic friction. In other case, it was mu s and it is mu k. Okay. Now next point is it is always less than the limiting static frictional force. Okay. So this one says that the kinetic friction. Okay, the kinetic friction is always less than the limiting value of the static frictional force. Okay, like in static friction, we have mentioned that in case of static friction, we mainly discuss about the limiting static frictional force. Okay, so if we draw a graph of in y-axis it is force of friction, and if in the x-axis this is applied force on a body. Okay, suppose you are drawing a graph. Okay, suppose there is a body over a surface. You are applying force from 0 to up to certain level. We are applying force. F started from 0 to F is starting from 0. Okay, so what happens when force increases? Okay, so in earlier case what happened, I have mentioned that when static friction force depends upon the applied force. Okay, after a certain then what happens when the force reaches up to certain point, after that only the body starts sliding. Okay, so after a certain level, that is the limiting value of static friction, the force of friction is equal to the applied force. Okay, and after that what happens, if we increase the force. See, this is what value? This is the limiting Fs limit. Okay, so this value. So this is what see, this is the force of friction. So this is what, this is the limiting static frictional force. Okay, at this point the body starts sliding. After that, if we increase the force, what happens? The force of friction remains constant. Okay, after the limiting value of static frictional force, if we increase the applied force on the body, then what happens? The frictional force remains constant. Okay, this is the force of kinetic friction. Okay, see, this is the force of kinetic friction. Okay, it is always less than the limiting value of the static frictional force. It is always less than the limiting static frictional force. Okay, so after the limiting static frictional force, if we increase the applied force, the frictional force does not increase. It only increases up to the limiting value of static frictional force. It increases linearly or is directly proportional to the force, okay, which is applied. Thus, static frictional force is directly proportional to the applied force in the body. At the limiting case, what happens? The body starts sliding, and after that, if we apply the force to increase the applied force, what happens? The frictional force does not increase; it becomes constant. Okay, so this is the graph of force of friction and the applied force. Okay, so this is the case. Actually, here you can see that the value of kinetic frictional force is always less than the limiting value of static frictional force. Okay, this is how we represent the graph. Okay, graph of force due to friction and applied force. Now, let's see. Suppose there is a body of mass and okay, and it's moving with the acceleration a. Okay, this a bunch of body is placed over a rough surface. Okay, and it is moving with acceleration a. So, like in earlier case we discussed in force, acceleration is what? In Newton's second law, what we get? Acceleration is the net external acceleration is obtained from net external force. Okay, so if we and that at that when we discuss about Newton's second law, we have not mentioned about friction. Now, see, in this case, what happens? We have mentioned that the surface is rough, so there is a frictional force in this. So frictional force will arise between the contact of two surfaces when it starts sliding or when it starts moving. So, suppose we consider frictional forces Fk. Okay, Fk, and it is moving with velocity a. So, and suppose the force we have applied. Okay, the force we have applied on the body to make it move with acceleration is F. Okay. So this is the case. We have applied a force F. We applied F amount of force on a body, and after that it starts moving with the acceleration A. And over a surface, rough surface. So due to the roughness, there is friction will arise between the two surfaces. So I have to calculate the acceleration. So in this case, what we do? F is ma. Okay. Net external force means this is the net external force. Okay. Or I can write F external. So F external will be how much? F minus Fk. Okay, minus Fk. And so this is mass mg and this is the normalization R. So see, it is moving. So what do we represent Fk? Fk is equal to nu k into R. R means mg. K into mg. Okay. So F external means m into a. It is moving with velocity a. These are F external forces. The applied force minus the frictional force. So ma is equal to F minus mu k into mg. So a will be how much? F minus mu k mg by m. So see, if you consider the frictional force, then this term will come, okay, when you go for acceleration. When you consider friction, this term will arise in the expression of acceleration. Earlier we simply write F by m, but when we mention the friction is present, then we have to mention or bring this term also. So this is how we calculate acceleration of the body when there is friction between the surfaces. Okay. Now see, in that expression, what we get, A is equal to F minus UK mg by m. Now if the applied force is 0, okay, if F is 0, if or external force, okay, applied external force, applied external force. This side we write net external force, and this is the applied external force. Okay, this is applied external force, and MA is net external force. Okay, if the applied external force is 0, then what we get, A is equal to minus mu k mg by m. Okay, or is equal to minus mu k into g. Okay, so see, mu k is coefficient of kinetic friction, and g is the acceleration due to gravity. So if the applied external force is 0, then what happens, due to friction the body starts retardation. The body starts deaccelerating. Okay, when the applied external force becomes 0, the body starts deaccelerating. And what is the value of deceleration? It is mu k into g. Because of this retardation or deceleration, this negative sign arises. Okay, so when the applied external force becomes 0, the body starts retarding or starts deaccelerating with a value minus mu k into g. Okay, and due to which the body stops. Okay, when the applied external force is 0, the body stops after covering a certain distance. Okay, due to this deceleration, which rises because of the kinetic friction. Now next thing I will discuss the work done against friction. Okay, I will discuss different systems. I will discuss different systems, and I will calculate the work done when the frictional force. How we calculate the work done when the frictional force is present. Okay, first case. Okay, suppose there is a body of mass m on a rough surface. Okay, the coefficient of kinetic friction of this surface is mu k. Okay, and we applied a force F. Okay, F, which is equal to the limiting static frictional force. Okay, this is a limiting static frictional force F. And what happens when you constantly apply this force? After some time, after application of this force constantly on this body, it covers a distance of s from this position to the body shift from this position to this position after application of F amount of force. And it is condition is that it is mentioned that the bodies move from position A to position B with uniform velocity. Okay, the uniform velocity term means zero acceleration. Okay, so from this condition, what we conclude that the force is applied on this body constantly, which is equal to the force of limiting value of static friction. Okay. So the body starts sliding from position A to position B. We have to calculate the work done. Okay. So how we calculate? So F will be how much? Suppose I am writing this. Okay. F will be how much? F is equal to limiting value of static friction. Okay. So limiting value of kinetic friction. Okay. Since the body is moving or in motion, so we mention the kinetic friction term, or doing the kinetic friction term, mu k into mg. Okay. Now, so this amount of force is required. Okay, required to slide the body from position A to position B. You have to constantly apply this amount of force. Okay, which is equal to mu k into mg, and the work done for displacing the body from position A to position B is, this is distance s, so F into s is equal to mu k mg into s. Okay, so this is for the plane surface. Okay. Now second case, in second case we consider an inclined surface. Okay, we consider an inclined surface, and we have to calculate the work done for displacing the body of mass m from position A to position B. So and AB is how much? Distance separation is s. So how we do that? In this type of case, what we do? See, the gravity is applied in vertically downward direction, and normal direction is always perpendicular to the surface at which the body is present. Okay, so here what we do? We resolve mg into two components. Suppose this is theta, inclination of time, this will be also theta. So this component will be mg cos theta. Okay, this will be mg sin theta. Okay, so see, a force F1 is applied, or a force F1 is required to move the body from position A to position B. Okay, F1 force is required to move the body from position A to position B. So body is moving upward direction. Okay, inclined upward direction in an inclined plane. So frictional force will be applied, or there will be friction will rise in the friction will arise against the applied force F1. So friction will be how much? Suppose I am writing frictional force as Fr. So if we so force will be how much? Okay, so what will be the force? So this force F1, how much force is required to bring the body from position A to position B? Okay, so this will be mg sin theta plus frictional force. Okay, so mg sin theta plus frictional force is how much? Frictional force is equal to mu k into r. Okay, mu k into r. See, in case of kinetic friction, it does not depend on velocity. Okay, it does not depend how or what is the at what velocity the body is moving. It does not depend. It is always constant. Okay, the mu k value is always constant. The value of the kinetic frictional force is always constant during its path. Okay, it does not depend on the velocity of the body at which it is sliding over the surface. So I am writing this mu k into r. So r will be how much? See, this is the mg cos theta, the component of weight mg cos theta, and is directly opposite and R is present directly opposite to this component. So R will be how much? R is mg cos theta. Okay, so R will be how much? R will be mg cos theta. Mg cos theta. See, since the body is moving only this direction, there is no deviation of its motion like in upward or downward direction. Okay, so these two forces are balanced. Okay, R and mg cos theta are balanced, or they cancel each other. Okay, so we can write R equal to mg cos theta. So mg sin theta plus mu k mg cos theta. So if we take mg common, sin theta plus mu k cos. Okay, so this is the force. Okay, we require to move the body to upward direction. Okay, if we consider the kinetic friction, okay, if we consider the kinetic friction term, so this is the force required to move the body in the upward direction in this inclined plane. So work done from bringing the body from position A to position B will be how much? F1 into S. So it will be mg s sin theta plus mu k cos theta. So this is the work done, okay, in bringing the body from position A to position B in place of inclined plane. Okay, now in the next case, what we will consider? In the next case, similar inclined plane, we are moving this mass m to downward direction. Okay, so inclination is theta. In the same case, we resolve mg into two components. Okay, mg cos theta and mg sin theta. Okay, now in this case, what do we do? We are moving the body in downward direction. Okay, we are sliding, our body is sliding in downward direction. So this is F. Okay, so it's F1. We are applying a force F1 to move the body to, or to slide the body in downward direction. So frictional force will be applied or will be arises in backward direction. This is kinetic frictional force. So this is the normal direction. So how we represent F? So F1 will be how much? F1 will be mg sin theta minus frictional force. Okay, equal to mg sin theta minus mu k into R. Okay, see in this figure, these two forces, okay, R and mg cos theta will cancel each other because the body is sliding only in this direction. Okay, there is no movement of the body in the upward or in downward direction. So these two, R and mg cos theta, these two forces, this component forces and this normal reaction force, these two are balanced. Okay, so we can write R is equal to mg cos theta. Okay, so mg sin theta minus mu k mg cos theta. Take mg common, mu sin theta minus mu k cos theta. Okay, this is the force we require to slide the body or move the body over this inclined surface, okay, in the downward direction. And suppose we want to calculate the work done in moving the body from position A to position B. Okay, so for that, suppose separation between the 2 points A and B is S. So work done in bringing the body from position A to position B is according to S. So mgs sin theta minus mu k cos theta. Okay, so this is what we get. So see, so less force is required to slide the body in downward direction. Okay, and this is how we calculate the force or the work done in bringing a body in upward or downward direction in case of inclined plane. Okay, this type of question you need to solve. Okay, you need to practice. It is a different type of question, and main thing in this type of problem is you have to resolve the components. Okay, as per your requirement, you have to resolve the component of force, and we have to, from that we have to proceed for a problem. Now next thing I will discuss about is rolling friction. Okay, rolling friction. Okay, so see when a sphere or a ring or a cylinder, okay, when this type of objects roll over a surface, okay, so what happens? See, in case of sphere, okay, see the contact between the sphere and a surface is what? This is a point. This is a point contact. There is a point contact on it. Okay. In case of ring also, suppose this is a ring. Okay, and it is rolling over a, or it is moving over a, it is rolling over a surface. See, the contact between the ring and the surface is what? Point contact. It made contact at a point only. Okay, on the surface. So see, I have mentioned that friction, when friction arises, when one surface, okay, when friction arises, when one surface slides, okay, when friction arises, when one surface slides over another surface, okay, then only friction arises. So slides means this is the surface of the two bodies. Okay, the surface of the two bodies are contact with each other. Okay, but in case of sphere and ring and cylinder also, there is only point contact. So according to our assumption, according to the previous definition, what should happen here? So there should be no friction. Okay, there should be no friction in this type of cases. Okay, in case of sphere, ring or cylinder, there should not rise friction. Okay, that is when a sphere rolls over a surface. Okay, it should without application of external force, it should not get stopped. Okay, it will keep moving on the surface. Okay, without application of external force, but this does not happen. Okay, at certain point, the sphere, ring or cylinder, when it slides over surface, stops after covering a certain distance. Okay, so this is due to rolling friction. Okay, this is because of rolling friction. Okay, so the rolling value of rolling friction. Okay, the value of rolling friction, was FR F roll I am writing. Okay, it is very less than the is less than the static frictional force and also very less than the kinetic frictional force. Okay. This rolling frictional force is very less than the static frictional force and also from kinetic frictional force. It is very less as compared to static and kinetic frictional force. So what is the origin? Okay, what is the origin of this rolling friction? Okay, so see, when a wheel, suppose I'm considering a wheel, it is rolling in this direction. Okay, moving in this direction and it get roll in this circular in this anti-clockwise direction. Okay, the roll is moving in or this rolling in anti-clockwise direction is moving in this way. So actually what happens when a wheel or when a circular object sphere rolls over a surface, what happens? It creates a depression. Okay, depression or a hump. It creates a very small actually. Okay, this is very small. You cannot visualize or sorry, you cannot not it is sorry not you cannot notice from your naked eyes. Okay, it make a depression or a hump on the surface. Okay, when a wheel rolls or when the circular object rolls, it makes a depression or hump over the surface at which it rolls. Okay, so see, when it make a depression, this is no longer point contact. Okay, point contact. So when this happens, what happens? This portion of the wheel come contact with this much portion of the surface. Okay, so this becomes no longer point contact. So there it shares a this shares a finite area of contact. Okay, so due to the making of the depression or hump, it becomes no longer point contact. Okay, and it shares a finite area of contact. There is a finite area. Okay, that which the wheel and the surface are in contact with each other. Okay, so this no longer after that this is no longer point contact. Okay. So when the wheel moves in forward direction, what happens? It has to climb the hump. Okay, it has to climb the hump created by the depression during its motion. During its whole motion. So during the motion of the wheel, what happens? It have to climb during its motion at every position. It have to climb this hump. Hump means this is climbing. This is upward. This is up type of things when you ride bicycle or ride bikes. What happens? There's a up. There's a in roads also there's a up. Now, okay. That is it's difficult to ride actually, or more forces required to climb this up when you ride a bicycle or a bike. Okay, need more force to ride up or a hump or up. So in this case also, this wheel during its motion, the wheel have to climb up these humps created by the depression. So this is the cause of the rolling friction. Okay, so this is so due to which what happens, it face due to which due to which the motion okay, due to creation of the depression or humps, the motion of the wheels faces opposition force. Okay, so this is the cause of the rolling friction. Okay, so now we have understood why this rolling friction comes. Okay, so this is the cause of origin of rolling friction. Now the part friction is almost finished. Okay, so friction is what is the role of friction? Is always resist the force. Okay, so but without friction, okay, life will be very difficult without friction, because the role of friction in daily life is what. First thing is, when you walk, what happens? We can walk on over the surface of the road because of the friction. Okay, we can walk over the surface of the road because of the friction of our feet and the surface and the road. Okay, without the friction we cannot walk over the surface, we get slip. If the friction action, we will get slip. Or when we try to walk over the surface, we will get slip if there is no friction, okay, between our feet and the road. And one more thing is there, I am writing on this blackboard. Okay, I am writing on this blackboard because of the friction. Okay, the soft particles get stick over the blackboard because of the friction between the soft particles and the blackboard. Okay, now the part of friction, this friction part of your syllabus is almost complete actually. Now next thing we'll discuss about the circular motion. Okay. Next thing we'll discuss about the circular motion. So what is circular motion? In the circular motion, we will discuss about the centripetal force. First thing we will discuss about the centripetal force. Then we will discuss about the centrifugal force. Okay.